All right, that depends. What's happening?
We got cars, guys walking out, but
Yeah.
we just saluted one of your partners. Yeah. I didn't hear what he asked. Oh, you got called about it. Right.
Yeah.
The reason we got a call is some people thought it was kind of odd. They just wanted us to check on you guys, and that's what we're doing. You guys have IDs on you? Okay. You mind if I take
Until y'all accuse me of something, I ain't identifying nothing. Y'all can identify yourself though. What's your name and badge number, G?
So let me introduce you guys to RPM Trey Vietnam. He's wearing this badass shirt. Look at what you did to me, white tee. That's a crazy shirt, man.
I know, right?
All right, so RPM Trey Vietnam is on several social media platforms. He open carries and waves a sign that says, "Hug an AR owner." You get mixed interactions in your videos. Some hate what you're doing, but some love and appreciate what you're doing. Cops have been called on you several times. One of the things I like about you is that you're a smart dude and you know exactly what you're talking about. Another thing that I like about you is that you're fearless. In my humble opinion, superheroes should be modeled after you. You seem to be non-political, but you also understand the nature of politics. I've heard you call out both sides of the political spectrum, as I have several times in the past. In the title of your first video on YouTube, the title of the video says, "Don't twist who I am and demonize a man standing up for natural rights." A friend of mine, his name is Jason Bassler. He owns the Free Thought Project website and is the original creator of Police to Police, visited me and taught me some things. When I spoke on human rights, he told me that using the term natural rights is the way to go. You seem to understand that already. Can you elaborate on what natural rights means to you?
Well, I think it's real simple. As soon as I recognize that I have a pulse, I have a life that I want to protect, as long as I stay on the proper side of interaction with other human beings, meaning I don't cause a victim, everything that I do has to be okay. And if it's not people's taste, then they can choose to get away from me as long as I'm not forcing. But the pure natural right for me to defend my life against anything and for me to express myself in any way I see fit, void of creating a victim, everything has to go. It has to be okay. And any conflict that I can find with another human being about how that's supposed to go is automatically going to put me on the good side and them on the bad side as soon as they're attempting to derail what it is that I thought I was free to do when I'm not even hurting anybody. So natural rights, I think, has to be at the forefront because it exposes every bit of control that we all know that we are facing on some level and that we should not accept. And some people just got a higher threshold, but I think the threshold is very clear. If I'm not creating a victim, then there is no crime, and everything in the contrary to that should be addressed just as aggressively as they want to address me when they do address me.
Resist political manipulation is what RPM stands for. What does that mean? And do you think political manipulation also includes mainstream media along with Hollywood?
Yeah, I believe anything that tries to get you into a political frame of mind to then persuade you to side with things that you wouldn't even really side with had you had full disclosure or complete understanding of what it is that you were giving up to fall in line with these things. If you look at that stuff, you'll realize that Republicans are saying that Democrats are going to use political means that appear to be lawful and standard so that they can get their hands on some control to really do some bad stuff that we wouldn't like. And Democrats are saying the same thing about Republicans. I'm saying that they're all right. Government is there to see who's going to win this tug of war so that they can use a government gun to force people who said no into just complying. So when you look at it in that way, I say resist political manipulation to say that I'm not left wing or right wing, but if everyone carries the sentiment that they do not want to be fooled or controlled by bad people, it'll automatically bring you to the conclusion that you shouldn't trust or really rock with government so much. It makes it real simple, and I'm not talking to either side, I'm talking to both sides, not one or the other. So I try to let people know that when I say fuck Joe Biden, I mean fuck Trump too. I don't like either one of them, actually, because they both aim to use their personal discretions and prejudices and their personal histories, and they bring that baggage along into this great deal of political power that it looks like quote unquote freedom and democracy, but really if you do not rock with what they have to say, you could probably find that line where they're willing to kill you about it. And all of that is in the background of all of that political sweet shit that they say. And I hear all of the threats every time they say anything. I just hear all of the threats because I'm always thinking, well, what if I don't want to? I know what their answer is. That means that if I push hard enough, I will find myself dead for it. And I'm not going to rock with that from nobody.
Man, it
So
makes a lot of
resist that
sense.
political manipulation, man. Like, they're going to manipulate everybody. They try to use it against everybody. We're all victims.
I seen one of your live streams. You talked about the difference between concealed carry and open carry. What are some of the problems that you see with concealed carry laws, and do you believe people should be able to open carry as well as concealed carry?
Yeah, I think the freedom there. What bugs me about gun laws in general, and especially when you put into the idea of concealed carry or openly carrying, is that in order to debate concealed or open, people have to first ignore the fact that the person that carries for defense already has his motives, his heart, his mind, and agenda in place. And if you can see his gun or not, it's not going to change what it is that he intended on doing. So openly carrying, I'm all about that shit, especially to make the statement that I want to make all the time. I openly carry a pistol every day, so it's always an open carry demonstration to me. When I do the AR-15 thing, I'm trying to be very detailed and thorough in what it is that I'm trying to say. That's why I got the bulletproof vest, level 4, multiple magazines, the AR-15 that everybody's scared of. I've always got a Glock on my side or another sidearm, because I'm telling people that even if you are this armed, you can be huggable, you can mean very well for yourself and other people. You don't want no harm to nobody, because you know being a bad guy with a gun means that somebody is going to get you, and that's what you deserve. So when you bring all of the love and recognition of all of these things, and you get out there like that, I think I put it in everybody's faces that they got to face this shit, that the good guy's going to like that gun too. And that's what the extreme examples of the open carry demonstration. But when I openly carry a pistol every day, I just want everybody to know that I don't think I'm any better than anybody else. I'm just in this grocery store shopping for cereal and fruit snacks and shit for my kids. I don't mean to harm anybody, but I might be the safest guy in here. Because not only am I armed, obviously armed, I also walk without the illusion that I can stop you, make you give me money after you sign this citation or a contract because I don't like where you were driving and I can't even see a victim. But I'm going to pretend to be the victim and the judge, jury, and executioner about how this procedure goes, what your punishment is going to be. I don't have any of that. I'm going to die to be a fucking jerk with my gun, and I know it. That's why I happily open carry, knowing that I'm never going to be that to anybody. I'm the hero. So I just made people face that shit, bro, and that's why I openly carry. But concealed carry tends to be a debate that people have because they say, oh, you give your position up when you're openly carrying. Look, I've open carried for about 12 years, and I've never had anybody think that they're going to reach for my gun and take it from me, or have I ever been in a fucking place where a bad guy sees me and he goes, it don't matter what I came in here for, Trey, you're the fucking target now. They don't know if I'm an off-duty police officer or marshal. They have no idea who I am. I am going to be a potential deterrent, which I like enough that I will say in my bravery that if I'm in a convenience store and this guy comes in and robbed the place, I would much rather him address me or see me as the issue that he needs to face so that he can make a choice about his life than for me to stand in the background and say, dude, if you're going to shoot the teenage clerk first and then I'll get you because you didn't even know I had a gun. There's something about that I say, that's for somebody else, it ain't for me. If there's going to be a problem, Let me be the problem solver. I have no qualms about any of that. So all the things that scare people away from open carry doesn't scare me at all. And as a matter of fact, concealed carry is cool because I understand the advantages. But what I find in concealed carry is that if you conceal carry, whoever you might be in opposition with is going to cross a line thinking that maybe he has the upper hand because he's the only one with a gun, or he can beat you in a fight because this is going to be a fight, and he doesn't know that he's going too far until you're shooting. Because you can't brandish the gun, you can't really threaten him with it, you got to watch what you do and say, and by the time he knows that this is what he's dealing with, you have to shoot him to stop him, and something about that makes me say, I'll take the detouring route. If I can detour him, fine. If he's a badass, and when he sees me, no personal beef with me, but comes into an establishment and see me as the number one target, so be it, bro. There's going to be a gunfight because you're just going to get what you didn't really want. But I'm going to give that to you. And if it has to be me and not the teenage clerk in the gas station that got to deal with this man first, let it be me. I'm okay with that.
You make the best argument for that propagated statement. You make the best argument that I've ever heard on that.
That's what's up.
You mentioned something in a video I saw a few months back, and it stuck with me. In that video, you were doing your usual thing, open carrying. A skateboarder does a trick right behind you, didn't show any kind of fear. A woman and her kid walks up to you and gives you a hug. Neither of them ran away from you in fear. You mentioned that the ATF should follow the laws, not break the laws, and that they should punish those that commit crimes with guns, not the people who haven't committed a crime. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, we all hate to see any crime committed where there's a clear victim who really wish that they weren't on the bad end of a violent conflict. And we all feel sorry for them because that really shouldn't happen. I would hate for it to be me or my kids. And when I know that, I have to spread that same sentiment out to the rest of the world, or else I cannot expect that anybody will ever give my children any peace if I can't recognize that in other people. And that goes the same for recognizing your natural rights. When you do that, you want everybody else to be left alone in their life journey that you can only sincerely recognize it in yourself when you realize that you are projecting it into other people that you want them to be happy and safe to. And when it comes to this idea of self-protection, I think everybody deserves that. But what I like about what it is that I'm doing with the open carry thing is that it forces a tally, that when people watch what I do, they know that every person that is near me that does not run away in fear or come screaming with the cops in tow, that the cops have to stop me because I must be doing something bad. Every single time that encounter happens and everything is fine, I win every single time. And all of the naysayers, when they see me, what they know is they can drive past, see me out on the corner, have their opinions, have their fears or whatever, but their fear will come to no avail. Nothing happened. And every single time they do see me, because I've done like 120 or more of these open carry demonstrations, when they do see me, what they do know is if it's the sixth time they've seen me on the corner and still nothing has happened, all they can say in their ignorance is, I don't like that this guy's on the corner with an AR-15. It's the sixth time I've seen him and he's always out here and blah, 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 but nothing ever happened. They're telling the story. That they can remain fearful of me and still say, but nothing happened. He didn't do anything to anybody. So I'm just constantly winning with that. And I'm okay with that.
Supreme Court laws like DeShaney v. Winnebago and Castle Rock v. Gonzalez say that cops have no duty to protect the people. We always hear cops say things like, I just want to go home at the end of the day, but never hear them say things like, I can't wait to put my life on the line to save or protect someone. Do you believe that officer safety is a form of cowardice? And should we make police accountable for failing to save people, like in the case of Uvalde, Texas?
I think so, because I think what comes along with this great power that they have is the great responsibility that always has to follow. So when you hold this monopoly on defense and protection the way they seem to do, they can only do that if they're willing to take all of the burden that comes along with that. And when they put up this front, like they are the ultimate line of defense for the people, when they really are the first line of defense in our enslavement, really, that's what they really are. But when they front and they pretend to be this and then they're not, they should be held accountable for that. And if they're not going to do that, what they need to do when they show up to domestic violence situations, for example, they should tell the woman or whoever's being abused that their protection is up to them. If they're really that fucking scared, they should probably go get a gun. If this motherfucker put his hands on you, maybe you got to do what you thought we would do when we showed up. Maybe you should be that. But they never do that. They never suggest, hey, get a gun in your hands. I bet you he leave you alone. They just say, call us back if there's any more issues because we can't make him leave type shit. This is what they say to battered women. You see what I'm saying? So if this is the best advice they have for battered women, that they never point them in a direction of protecting them damn selves like nature insists, then I know that there's something wrong here because they only show up to clean up bloody messes and stains and stuff. They almost never get there to literally stand between you and whoever's shooting at you. They never do that. They never do that. So to expect for them to do that will be foolish. And if they want to pretend like this is who they are, they need to also take responsibility by maybe giving up their pension or something like that when they violate somebody's rights or they fail to protect people when they told everybody else to stand back so that they can do it. Like, that's ridiculous to me. If I did that to my kids, you would call me something. I would not look like a protective father if I was out in the streets conducting business that put my kids in harm's way, and I told my kids, hey, don't ever touch a gun. The gun shit is not for you. I'm the ultimate authority, and if you get caught lacking without your shit and I'm not there, wait for me. I got a 20-year-old son. He's had his AR-15 since he was 16, a bulletproof vest since he was 18. I'm prepping him to tell him what I know my father would have told me. I can't protect you all the time. You'll be a damn fool to depend on me to do that. I might not be able to. I might not even want to. I might not be around. If you're waiting for me to protect you, life is going to get you. You better be a man to do this shit yourself. This is what my father would have told me. When government won't tell you that, when law enforcement won't tell you that, they are missing a big PowerPoint in your existence, that your life is for you to defend, man. If it looks like that's your fight because no one else is around but you and whoever's attacking you, the proof is in the pudding. You should have had something to stop him. You can't cry for your mama. You can't call for your father. The police are minutes away. Their response time is fucking ridiculous. I wouldn't wait for a cop if he was standing across the street. If I'm being mugged at night point or gunpoint and there's a cop across the street, I'm not waving him down. He's just going to hear me erupting on this guy. Then he can come check it out later. Reactionary to clean up the mess, but he'll never stand in front of no bullet for me.
Outstanding. Without cops, politicians are just people with bad ideas. Have you heard that before? What are your thoughts on that? And do you believe we still need cops to catch people that have committed crimes, like detectives, for instance?
Awesome question. So first of all, I do believe that cops really are like... What's weird is that government seems to create situations or social constructs to where they seem to be the best remedy for these things. So when law enforcement and federal government, the ATF, when they got all these gun rules and stuff, they do seem to put the people behind the 8 ball when it comes to defense, and then things get, the waters get kind of muddy. So I think that people really should be taking their defense into their own hands for sure. But what was the question again, bro?
Do you believe we still need cops to catch people that have committed crimes, like detectives?
Yeah, because I think homicide detectives, for example, they do a great job. I can't stand law enforcement, but if it's already proven that we do have a victim, I think anybody who gets involved, this shouldn't even be limited to law enforcement. It should be, because the resources that they have are available for anybody else who might want to commission like a private company that does forensic analysis and stuff like that. I think we should call a team of people onto a crime scene so that there's more than one outlet, and that when two entities come to the same conclusion, and we can be even more sure that we don't imprison someone who did not commit that crime, did not commit that SA on a woman, or however far that went. Like, we just need, I think it'll curb police corruption too, if there was always somebody else who was unbiased or maybe in competition to be the best protection for the people. If we had that kind of a thing, I think it'd be way easier. I think you could trust these people in these positions way more if they didn't have qualified immunity to hide behind, but rather they had to perform flawlessly in not violating people's rights by being honest, by not being corrupt, or else they would not be in business. If they had to deal with that in competing factions, I think law enforcement, crime scene investigation, all of that shit would have a higher rate of success and be better approved by the people if it was something like that. But crime scene detective, I wish that I could be one of them, because nothing will make me feel better than having a murder that we can't figure out and then me saying, I know who did this and we're going to make them pay for that shit. That's dope. A beat cop in Illinois, for example, 5 years ago, marijuana was illegal. Now it's legal, though. 5 years ago, a cop that's on duty in Illinois right now can reflect back to where 5 years ago he chased somebody down, had to pepper spray him, beat him up, and he feared for his life, might have to overdo somebody just to get them, because this guy has got a record of dealing with drugs, and he just did not want to go to prison because his girlfriend is pregnant and blah, 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 and it was worth him running and maybe even fighting the cop because he just cannot accept what it is that he's found himself in the middle of. And now, over that same week, they go, we don't care. You can stop a cop and ask him for fertilizer recommendations to grow your shit. In the same state that was chasing people down 5 years ago, willing to kill or be killed over stopping marijuana. Man, that shit crazy to me, bro. And any guy that signs up for that, that'll be wishy-washy in his own moral compass to go along with what somebody told him to do on paper. You willing to kill or be killed for by whatever? Man, look, I respect the cop that says, I don't like weed, and if they legalize it here, I fucking quit. I respect that cop. But the one that says, I'll kill you today, they change it, then I'll give you the recommendation for the fertilizer tomorrow. But I'm going to do what they say. Like, any cop that does that, you are a programmed slave to the paper, and I can't respect that guy. But everything else that law enforcement could possibly do to protect the victim is always worth it.
Outstanding. Open carrying on private property versus public property. What's the difference?
I think on the private property thing, for me myself, when I am on private property, first of all, if I don't see a sign, if this is like a private property that is welcoming to the public in any form or fashion, then either people are going to have to stop me, or I'm going to have to make the discretion myself to conceal carry when I go there. If it's literally someone's home, their dwelling, where their kids are, where they sleep at, I always choose to opt out of carrying openly. And if I'm cool enough with these people, whoever it is, I let them know, hey, this is how I get down. Is this okay with you? So that we can, try to curb some disagreement or some bad feelings that might come across if this is, private property. But I try to give people some level of peace if I am in their space that they expect it to be in total control of. So it's always hard for me to kind of force that. Public, I'm giving no fucks. If I walk into an establishment that doesn't like open carry or even concealed carry, and they say no guns on the premises, they're going to have to put the proper sign on the entrance. I have to see that, and then I got to make a choice myself. But without that sign, I'll play dumb. We had the Walmart incident a few years ago where the guy openly carried an AR-15 at Walmart, and then that made national news, and people started talking all this shit. And Walmart was like, "You can't open carry here." Man, I went into Walmart. I went into Walmart after that often, openly carrying like I always do, and it was in the middle of that COVID shit. This is what I did. Hold up. I got this level 3A bulletproof mask. I was like, yo, this shit is COVID approved. I got my pistol on me. No one's gonna say shit. And I'm in Walmart shopping like that. Nobody said a word to me. And I'm not gonna pretend like I don't understand what's going on here. First of all, I'm openly armed. We're not a care in the world. I'm a black man, so off top, it shouldn't even be like this. But people feel like they shouldn't try to say political shit to me that'll upset me. I can feel the vibe of people looking at me going, I'm going to give you some slack and I won't even fucking say anything. Black guy with a gun, I'm just going to fucking let him go. But sometimes I make eye contact with people and I can see it in their face that they're going, who do you think you are? I can see it on their face, you know what I'm saying? And I love that shit because, like I said earlier, when they walk away from me and realize that nothing showed up in the news later that night, I didn't do anything, and this is the fucking 12th time they've seen me in this grocery store, all they can say is, I see him like this, it disappoints me, but nothing ever happens. And I go, well, I win, bro.
That's a sick ass mask.
I know, right?
one of my last questions. First of all, I've been an advocate for the First Amendment since I started my channel. I've said it 1,000 times that the First Amendment mirrors our natural rights. The Constitution was not written to give us our rights. On the contrary, it was written to limit the scope of authority that government has over we the people. And this is why police scoff at the people when they mention their rights, even calling them names like sovereign citizen. One of the things that you said on one of your live streams is that the Second Amendment should have been the first, because that would have reminded government to respect everything else. This had to be one of the most brilliant things you've ever said. Can you elaborate on that and leave us some food for thought?
Yeah, I feel like with me being the huggable, peaceful guy that I really am, that I have been my whole life, I feel even more confident in letting my own personal guards down and being free to be jolly, casual, happy-go-lucky me when I know that I've already made the statement with me openly carrying a pistol everywhere I go. I've already made the statement that I'm not going to be bullied. That way, when I'm cheerful, happy, always trying to be positive, love positive interaction with other people, because I try to treat people the way I want people to treat my kids. I try to keep that in mind. So when I see people, I tend to see the baby version of them, knowing that in the sandbox, I would have played with you. Other grown-ups around us would have insisted that we play nicely together, all of this. So if we grown-ups and we couldn't hang on to that, and you're going to be the reason to cause a problem with me in public, bro, just know that I tried to love you. Just know that that's who I've always been. But first things first, before I can even say a word to show my soft side, everyone can see, if they care to look, that I am openly carrying a pistol. So I think in the same regard, it would have been best for the government, before they can say, hey, shut that guy up, or you can't say that, or that's politically incorrect. Before they can even get to that, I think what they should have known first and foremost is any violations to our natural rights and true freedoms will be met with a fucking gun if need be, because everything they say got a gun behind it anyway. If law enforcement in a traffic stop were to say to you after everything that they said, and I quote, or I will kill you, if a cop said that to you at a traffic stop, he would just be thinking out loud. He wouldn't be exaggerating, because that is what he means every time he says anything to you. So as a rebuttal to them, realizing who they are on their ivory towers and what it is that they have the potential to do. And we've seen it, because we blame other countries for doing this. We blame other countries for letting people who are only people, who are actually the worst of the people, getting behind the government wheel and driving that country into a fucking hellhole. We blame other countries for doing exactly that. But then they say, oh, but not us. No, you too. U.S. government, you too. That's all of you, because you all have the potential. We should be on guard just like that. And because of that, what we should have said to them first and foremost is, we'll shoot at you if we have to. Now I'm going to say what the fuck I want. And you know not to even interrupt me, because I've already told you I will shoot at you if need be. Like, this is what we should have said to them. So I think being number one, first things first, nobody fucking touch me, is fucking dope. And I think it should have been number one, as it is in natural law. The first rule of natural law is self-preservation. That's something we should expect from anything. We expect it from a feral cat, from a wild hog, from a deer. They choose the flight over fight. But what we do know is self-preservation is a universal language. That when there's danger, some people might fight you to stop the threat, or some people might run, but there is going to be a reaction. And I think it's just the first rule, man. Step number one, man, don't touch me.
Absolutely brilliant. Like I said, I've watched several of your videos. When I seen the first video of you standing out there open carrying, I was totally blown away. I was like, damn. This is what needs to happen. This is where we the people need to be. This guy's on point. And then I watched some of your videos. I watched one of your live streams a while back while you were live. And I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but what you were saying in your live stream, it just reminded me how good you were at what you do, how smart you are as a person, as one of the people. And I gotta say, man, that you have the right mindset, and you have the floor, man. Anything you'd like to say before we end this?
Yeah, man. I did want to get back to the ATF thing about how the ATF shouldn't be breaking their rules and stuff. We are, if people care to look into it, you can see how corrupt the ATF is. None of it surprises me. It disgusts me, but none of it surprises me, because I know human nature enough to know that where there is an advantage to be taken, someone will show up to take advantage of it. It's not even rocket science. World domination isn't even like a far-fetched idea. We thought Hitler was trying to do that. We've seen other countries and other rulers try to do that. To be mindful of that, and then to tell everyone that we're not going to allow anyone to climb that mountain to be king of the world, that we know what that means for the rest of the world. I think that's paramount in the idea of freedom, that we also have to tell our government that that means them too. No one's going to stand at the top of the mountain for a total dictatorship over the world, and we're the last beacon of hope here in this country. And with the ATF being who they are, as corrupt as they are, as expected, they are the last people in the world that should be saying anything about the length of my AR-15 barrel, as if the length of the barrel is going to determine what it is that I intend to do with it. Like, it's so silly that I feel a deep frustration that we have to explain these kinds of things to people who appear to be as smart and as diligent as they are in whatever they call protecting the people. And if they were who they say they were, they would know that they're causing more pain than freedom. And I try to get them the benefit of the doubt in their intelligence to know that they're not helping us, that they're really trying to fight us. Everything that the ATF says in regards to gun control, what they really want, if it was coming from a foreign entity who was saying that they were going to come here to make us abide by these things, we would call that unconstitutional or potential foreign invasion, and then we would stop them before they got here. We'd be on their asses. But when it comes from DC and the ATF, sometimes people just so lackadaisical about it that they let it slide. But I think we need to address that in the same way, because if we don't want children to be diddled, we have to say that the parents can't be the ones to do it either. You being close doesn't mean that you can pretend to be protecting these kids while you're the one that are harming them the most. Nobody gets to diddle the fucking children, you understand? And this is what you got to say to people, right? And it goes the same for government. We don't care who it is, Russia, China, Mexico. We don't give a damn. Nobody's going to fuck with the freedom around here. We don't give a fuck if it's Biden and the ATF. Nobody gets away with it. Every threat is seen as a threat, and you can't sugarcoat it with a red, white, and blue flag and get me to accept the threat or get any compliance out of me, because it's not going to happen. And the ATF is out of their minds with this pistol brace thing and stuff. They're out of their damn minds, and I'm so surprised that they have been allowed to do what it is that they have been doing. If you swing on a cop and miss, you're going to jail as if you hit him. If you try to do something unconstitutional and you miss, you should go to jail for attempting the unconstitutional shit, because what that says to me is they expect that their illusion of authority to get past people's intelligence and awareness that they will win anyway, even when they're breaking the laws and the rules in their own fucking oath. They think that the illusion is enough. That's a bad sign. Either they don't know what the hell they're doing, and that's dangerous, or they know that they're wrong and they're hoping that the illusion is enough to pass them by. That shit is crazy. The ATF is out of their damn minds. But the idea of self-preservation is just such a big thing, man, that I don't think anything that follows after that should even be respected, because every man deserves to tell another man who started a fight with him that he don't got to lay down and let him win that fight. If you didn't start the fight, you're supposed to win. And you might need a gun for that. Every time they scare us with this political bullshit and the mass events of violence and all of that type of shit, whenever that happens, I just go get another gun. Danger, danger, give up your gun sounds retarded to me. They should be telling all of the people with the good hearts to say, are you a good man? Do you only want to defend? Do you hate the sight of this stuff? Are you just incapable of harming people for dumb reasons? Then please, you be the one to go get the guns, bro. That's what they should be saying, but they want no one to have the gun. But if they had a gun ban, do you think the police and law enforcement will give their guns up thinking, well, we got a gun ban, now everything's safe, we can put our shit down too? No, they're going to hang on to that shit because they know that somebody's not going to give a damn about a gun ban. Not even an all-out gun ban. They know someone's not going to care. And if they say, I have to keep this gun, I'm going to be like, me too, motherfucker. Are you crazy? Me too. They'll never give their shit up. That's why I'll never give mine up. Nothing to make the police disarm.
It's funny, in one of your videos you mentioned that Russia and other countries won't be the ones to come get our guns, that it's actually our own country.
Yeah, that's the absolute truth. Like, Putin couldn't say that shit. We'd laugh him off. We know that, boy, if you know what we're going to do to you. But when it comes from DC, people go, the law's the law. Let them do. I'm not letting them do shit.
Isn't it funny how the ATF, how alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, those three things are not even illegal in this country, but yet we have an alphabet agency.
That's strange to me. That's strange. What would be nice to see, which I think should happen, is that um, there should be a clear and obvious department, um, maybe even put together by the citizens, that's void of government control, really, that says when all else fails, we are the defense, the last defense against a foreign invader, a domestic enemy, all of that. Here we are. And we do have that. It's called the militia. But a lot of people don't adhere to the idea of that, when just like our natural rights, the idea of a militia is plain and clear to me. It's very obvious. I don't have to recognize it, call myself this. It'll just fall into place naturally. If someone invades my home and I have to be the defender when I got a girl and kids. No, we don't have to write this down. We don't have to vote on it. We know what positions we fall into naturally when things happen. And if we had a foreign invader, if these foreign invaders had boots in your yard, you are the militia. You're supposed to stop them. Like we are all the militia. It just makes sense that if he's right there, that's your fight. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like the idea of the militia has escaped American society, and people kind of brush off that responsibility on the law enforcement and other things. But in the case of an invasion, law enforcement would be happy to see 250,000 people like me. They'd be like, hell yeah, we're glad you're here, bro. Because what the fuck else can we possibly do? As a matter of fact, if they saw me standing on the sideline, unarmed, uneducated about firearms, and unwilling to fight, they'd be like, what the fuck is going on? They would be disappointed. So I don't understand how anybody, especially law enforcement, that took an oath to defend these things, I don't understand how they could ever oppose what it is that I'm doing. And most of the time they don't.
I used to be on the fence of being a statist versus a voluntarist, and I used to wonder how a militia would work. I asked Jason Bassler from Police of Police if he had any ideas or thoughts on how that would work, and he gave me an example of Detroit, how they created a militia over there. Police department was getting paid. They weren't even patrolling the area. The crime was high. And they ended up disbanding this department. And the militia stayed intact up until this day. And this was years ago. And the guy who created that militia was the guy who went viral recently. He's the dude that he would make videos of people putting guns to him, and then he would just kind of twist the gun away or something, and everybody made memes. They wake up in heaven. But from my understanding, that guy helped create a militia that protected the community, and it worked. So that is an example. What I was shown that this could possibly work.
Yeah, I think so. I think people just need to be mindful of it and then be serious. If they're mindful of the responsibilities and duties, and then they seriously address it. I tell this to people who don't even own guns at all, too, when I'm trying to get them to get involved and take their own protection seriously, is that you can go from not knowing shit to being pretty good to being awesome in no time if you care enough to put in the work, because what law enforcement has learned about firearms and how to handle them is something that anybody can learn. They're not special. They just know something that you don't know. If you walk that walk, you will be able to talk the talk. You'll be fine. And it's the same thing with organizing public safety. But look at the void that law enforcement left behind. People are so dependent that when law enforcement wasn't there, things got a little chaotic for a minute, and then government says, you do need the police. No, we don't. We just need to fill that void with the proper responsibilities and obligations that every man should be walking with, that he needs to not be the cause of victimhood, and he needs to protect and defend people who cannot or will not protect or defend themselves. Like, every man should be walking in that light being like, I have to do this. I don't need a badge to know that. I don't need to be on a payroll. I just feel like I should be doing that. And carrying a gun gives you the confidence, not that a man will be a coward for not doing it, but if I heard a screaming woman, and I've heard this before in the middle of the night, and I had to come outside with my firearm, like, I hear a woman screaming, stop, 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 and I can't ignore it. But what gave me the confidence to go out there is me being like, I have my own life, I have kids, I don't want to die, but I can feel nature calling me to help this woman. What should I do? The gun gave me the confidence to say, I got a fighting chance. I got to do what's right now. And sometimes you need that fighting chance to know that when you do this, you're not also going to die trying to protect a stranger when you don't have no idea what's even going on. This bitch could have been getting eaten by a chupacabra. Maybe the swarm of bees got her address. I don't know what's wrong with her, but to go check is what a real man should want to do. And if you need a gun for that confidence, then get the gun and then do what needs to be done. But hey, man, people have to lighten up with their fear of guns because nobody gets proficient with a firearm and remains scared of them. As soon as you know, the fear goes away.
Outstanding. RPM. It's RPM, Trey Vietnam. Thank you so much for this interview. One of, I would say, the most educational interviews. You're probably one of the smartest dudes that I've ever spoken to, interviewed.
I appreciate it, man, a lot, man. I appreciate that.
You have the right mindset and the right ideas. I've heard several things from several different folks, and they seem to align with your mentality, and I gotta agree with it. Yeah, man. Thank you so much, everybody. Make sure you guys go follow RPM Trey Vietnam on Instagram, on YouTube. I'll definitely drop the links in the description, pinned comment. And you're on Facebook as well?
I was banned off Facebook for years, and then somehow it let me back in, and then it kicked me out again in like 3 days. I didn't even post nothing. They just realized that it was me again. And when I try to make a Facebook, they make me do like the facial recognition thing, like when you're setting up your iPhone unlock. Mm-hmm. They make me do that, and when they see it's me, denied. It's crazy. So Facebook is no more, but my YouTube is busting. My IG is good. So check those things out. RPM Trey Vietnam on YouTube and RPM_Trey_Vietnam on IG. Check the merch out. My merch store is linked in some of my videos. I'm gonna try and post it to like my bio in my IG. Check out the shirt. Look what you did to my white tee. This is all about recognition of gun violence and then surviving enough to even make this statement that you can point it out that somebody did this to your white tee. That's the whole point. You survive these interactions by being diligent in how you treat other people. When you know you don't want to be treated like that, you shouldn't do that. And being capable and willing to defend yourself so that you can survive a fight that you didn't start. So check out the merch, check out the channels, and woo bang, man, get a gun. It's for everybody.
Is that shirt on your merchandise?
It is, but I gotta say that with the little holes in it that look like shots, I haven't figured out a way to mass produce it in that way. So anybody order the shirt, it won't have the shots in it, but it will have the phrase, you know what I'm saying? But I made this one in my house, in the garage. I never thought I'd need a hammer to make a shirt, but it took a hammer to get these in there. A t-shirt, something's going on.
That's probably the sickest shirt I've ever seen. I swear.
No, proud of it. I like it.
All right, man. Thank you so much for the interview. We got
love your work, and I like the channel, man. It inspires me every day, man, to be a real man, to tell the bully no to the bully, man.
Thank you. We have each other's phone numbers now. Let's definitely keep in touch.
That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You mind if I put you on camera for that? What'd you say your name was?
Dreska, 54.
Dreska, 54. What about you, bro?
Also, they do.
How you pronounce your name?
They do.
I ain't never seen that last name before ever. What's your badge number?
19.
19. Okay. So what we're being accused of?
What's that?
What we're being accused of?
They just said they thought it was odd that you guys had bulletproof vests on and you guys were walking down the street with rifles. So they just wanted us to check on you guys.
I did that, but that's legal though, right?
What's that?
That's legal though, right?
Yeah.
They don't know that?
Some people don't.
They should. This is where they live at. They want to be respected as adults. They got to know where they live at and then move if they don't like it. That's how that's supposed to go, bro. So if you want to accuse me of something I got to defend myself against, I'll tell you what my name is.
I'm not accusing you of anything. I just want to get your guys' names so I can document this contact between us.
I don't even want to be...
Just like you documented your contact.
But you got you don't got a body cam? You got a body cam, right?
I got a body cam on.
Well, then we tip for tat. for documentation there, right? So we want to...
got money. I just want to get your name.
Well, you got to do that, though. I don't got to do that. You're a public servant, bro. You have to do that.
You're correct.
I don't have to until I'm accused of something. So if you accuse me of something, I'm definitely going to identify myself. Or if you can tell me what happened if I refuse verbally, and what happened to me after that, if that scares me, then I will identify myself too, because I don't want no trouble. But if we can go on the verbal, I'm going to verbally refuse and think and hope that that works.
And that's within your right.
Yeah, so I can verbally refuse?
Yeah.
Then I'm going to do that. I ain't did nothing wrong. And if I did something wrong, I got to face that. I did that. But I ain't did nothing, though.
You guys give me a second, okay? I'll be right back.
Are we being detained?
No, you're not being detained. You should have
So I can walk away from you while you do that? With no trouble? Because I don't want no trouble.
Right.
Okay, but then I'm going to walk away with no trouble.
Okay.
But if it's going to be some trouble, I'm going to stand right here.
There's no trouble.
Okay.
Not in trouble.
All right. Thanks, bro, because you being real with that. That's cool. Thank you. We're going to walk away, though. Thank you.